In this example, we're going to look at constructing frequency tables and histograms. In this case, we're just going to go directly to a histogram using the CAS calculator. So what we need to do first is enter in all this data. Then we're going to go to the CAS to construct a frequency histogram using the class interval of 5, and we're going to start at the value of 140. We also need to label the axes. After that, we're going to do a bit of analysis. So let's put everything in first. So go across to your CAS. What we need to do first is introduce a new problem. So we're going to go doc for insert one problem. We're going to open a list and spreadsheet, number 4. And for this particular question, we're looking at the heights of 40 students. So I'm just going to type in height for the name of the column, and we're going to start entering our data. So take your time to enter the data. Once the data is entered, you can open a data and statistics page that links with your current problem. So for me, it will be 4.2. So click on doc, press insert, number 4 and 2 for a page. We're going to introduce number 5, which is add data and statistics. And there are two ways. You can either click here and select height for it to align, or you can press menu, plot properties, number 2, and 5 add X variable. When you click on this, it will ask you to select the height. You can press enter and it will align. This is a dot plot. So in order to construct a histogram, you go to menu, you change the plot type by pressing 1, and we're going to go with 3 histogram. And notice here, we've got 145, we've got up to 180, but we need a class interval of 5, and we need to start the value at 140. So in order to do this, we will go to menu, we'll go to plot properties, we're going to go to 2 histogram properties and 2 for bin settings. We want the bin width to be equal, so we're going to go with number 1 bin width. The width here, which is the same as the class interval, is number 5. Press tab to get to the next box, and we want our starting value, which is the same as the alignment, to be 140. Press enter. Now I can see here that it doesn't look like a fantastic histogram yet, but we can see that we do start at 140 and we end at 180. You can see that between each increment, it is also a class interval of 5. We just want to be able to see the rest of our data. So we click on menu, 5 to zoom for the window and zoom, and we're going to focus on our data, which is number 2. So press number 2. Now you can see our highest value. If you hover your cursor over it, there are 8 points which exist between 160 and 165. We couldn't see that before. So now that we have our frequency histogram, we can draw this up on our paper. But just before we draw it up, I'm going to take a capture of this. So bear with me for a second, so that I have something to refer to while I draw it. Okay, so this is the capture that we have, our reference from the CAS. And just to set this up, we know that there is a maximum frequency of 8. The first thing that I will do is label the axes, because the question does ask for us to label our axes. So we're going to put frequency on the vertical line, and we're going to put height on the horizontal line. Now we can see that we need to have some sort of scale. So the way that I've set this up is I've used increments of 2 for every one value. So 1, 2, 3. You can do it however you like. However, for the horizontal axis, our lowest starting number is 140, which means that it doesn't start from 0. This is where we introduce this symbol here, like a little thunderbolt, which represents a break. So this is a break in the number line. So here is 0, but once we get to here, that's 140 now. So there's missing numbers in between that we don't need to focus on, which is absolutely fine. So we introduce what we call a break. Now we have the rest of the values in, and again, every second line for me is an increment of 5. So you can see between these 4 increments, it's a value of 10, and we know we need to build it up to 180. So just pause the video now and build your increments just before we start sketching. I do highly recommend you use a ruler or anything straight as well, so that we can draw our histogram. Our first one, you can see, is 1. And what you can do on your CAS calculator is if you hover your mouse or your cursor over each bar, there is a value that you would have seen before of how many points there actually is. So you don't have to always look across and see and double check. So from 140 to 145, we have a value of 1. Up until from 145 to 150, we have a value of 4. 150 to 155, we have a value of 6. Bear with me for a second. I'm going to cheat a bit here, just because I have a box function. Between 155 to 160, we have a value of 5. 160 to 165, we have a value of 8. We're going to have 6 for the next increment. So all I'm doing is I'm referring my eyesight to refer to this diagram here. Once that's all done, your frequency histogram is complete. I'll leave this here as a reference photo for you to see. At the top of each one, you can write the value if you wish to, like so, just so that it might be easier for you to see. And I need to make a correction here. Good thing that I did, because that should be at a value of 6. So that you don't have to always look across and use a ruler of any sort. Once you've done that, we can go to the questions below in order to analyze this. So how many students are shorter than 150 centimeters? So you can see here, 150 centimeters or shorter. You can see in this category it includes these 2 bars from the histogram, which is a total of 5 students. So I'll just go 1 plus 4 equals 5. Next question, how many students are at least 170 centimeters tall. So here's 170. Anything above that is at least 170. So we've got this 6 and we've got this 4. There are a total of 10 students. So that's how you construct a histogram on the CAS calculator. That's how you draw a histogram, and that's how you analyze a histogram.